Hi guys, hello, welcome. Thank you for tuning in and listening to another one of my videos since I don't have my podcast going yet. I appreciate you guys, your feedback. I appreciate you continuing to be a part of this group and listening, and I'm hoping that I'm helping some of you with some of the things that I am learning and teaching as I go, and saving you maybe some of the stress and anxiety that I've been through in my awakening and learning process. I've been creating a lot of content lately, and I don't know why. Well, actually, I do know why, because I'm in my purpose and I'm feeling connected to my mission now more so than I've ever felt before, and it's exciting and it's kind of scary, and I think that's okay, right? Like, we often have the feeling like anytime that there's fear, that there's this element of like alert or nervousness in our body. It's almost like this red flag that maybe this is wrong and we shouldn't continue and climb that mountain. And I feel like fear and excitement are actually connected, because they're things that you haven't done before. And just because it feels scary, and it's just because it's something that you've never experienced before, this is when we look at it as this red flag, and it doesn't have to be. It's like, don't change your mind. Whatever you're doing is it's like an alert system, because your ego's trying to protect you. But if you can just surrender to that fear and just know that it means that you've stepped into a more creative power. Like, for years, I would try and outrun fear. I would back off. And fear only arises when you're onto something really good and headed in the right direction. And this year, I've stepped into a giant creative power and strengthened, my commitment to you, to, teaching people, to helping people get through, the fear and the blocks in their life. And 2020 is holding a big energy, and it's way bigger than the resistance that you've felt in the past. So understand that it's not you, it's like the whole planet as a collective. So you're moving, and momentum is building, and fear is usually close behind, and there's no need to fight it. In fact, fighting it gives it so much more power. So if fear is arising for you, take a moment to look it right in the eyes, and like, what does it look like? What is its voice like? What is it saying to you? You may find that when you stop running and actually face fear, it gets kind of whimpery and it doesn't know what to do with itself anymore. And so if it's super fierce and you take a step through it anyway, notice how it like dissolves, like poof, right? And the best part is that you've proven to yourself that your creativity and you are much more powerful than the fear, okay? So I just kind of like wanted to say that, because I've been feeling fear about a lot of the things that I'm doing, and fear of like coming on and talking to you and showing my face, and like, I've never done this stuff before. But I don't know, I feel like 2020, or even just like the whole last year, and it's just time. It's time to step out of that fear. It's time to help other people, with stuff that And so I've been in this place of feeling desires to do things, on paper that in my current reality don't make a lot of sense. And I think that we all feel this way, where we get this like pull, or this desire, or this excitement, or this idea to do something, and it may be based on our current reality and doesn't make a lot of sense. So I'll give you an example. I remember a while back, I was trying to decide what kind of car I wanted, and I was playing the manifestation game, right? So I was dreaming up like, well, what does, my house look like, and what does my car look like? And I had some ideas come in that really scared the crap out of me. Like, I wanted a specific Jeep, or, oh my God, like, that's a $50,000 car, and who are you to set that goal when you have, this debt, or you have this or that to pay for, or like, you're not in a situation right now. And it happened years ago when I was trying to lose weight, or when I was trying to manifest a significant other, and I felt very insecure in my body, and I felt like nobody would want to be with me. And, I really wanted to get the person that matched my description on my list of, what I was trying to manifest. And I felt like I had to have that body or nobody was going to want me. That person wasn't going to want me because there are like billions of other girls that have these beautiful bodies. And that's like what was in my head. And, right now, you guys are going to see that I had a habit, and maybe you have a habit of wanting something and then looking at your current reality and going, this doesn't really fit here. This doesn't make a lot of sense for me. I don't know if this is really possible for me. And how debilitating that can be for your manifestation, for that life that you're trying to create for yourself, for that life that I was trying to create for myself, for the version of you, for the version of me that you want to become. And what ends up happening for you is that you're negating any desire that you have, and you're saying you can't have that, and you're omitting any possibility of the fact that you're capable of doing these things and having these things, whether or not you're actually capable of receiving them in the future that you crave. We negate, we omit, and we worry about the what is now, right? What we're looking at now, what our bank account looks like now, where we are now, and thinking that is the reality of forever. That's crazy when you think about it. Like, how can what you have this moment dictate what you have forever for the rest of your life? You'll never have the future that you want if you negate and worry and omit the things that you want and you crave and you desire. So when you get a desire and, you look at your now and it doesn't fit here, and you think, does this belong here? Can I have this in my current state? Actually receive these things and really just stop for a minute and realize, just stop. Just think of me telling you this right now. Stop and realize that none of that is true, because none of that actually means anything. And now is just a reflection of your past choices. What you're living now is just a reflection of your past choices, stuff that you've thought in the past. So if you don't like what you're living now, that's just stuff that you created in your past, and now's your chance to change it. We're creators of our future. We have decisions, and we can look at the now and say, okay, this doesn't fit. Or we can look at where we're going, and we can say, you know what, actually I want to design this, and I want to create this version of myself, and I don't care where I am because I'm more focused on where I'm going. And that's a choice. So while we don't have a choice in our current reality because it's a collection of everything that we've already done in our past, where you are now financially or whatever in your relationships or whatever is all stuff that you've done because of past decisions. What your body looks like is because of past decisions, right? If you binged over the last year and you put on weight, it's in the past. Now you get to create your future. So don't look at what you are now. I don't mean to go off on this, but I think this is an important subject. This is not even what I was going to talk about. Like I said, I just have so much content in my head, and I feel like there's maybe somebody out there that needs to hear this. You have no control over your past now, although a whole different subject is like our past, future, and present are all like kind of running at the same time. But what you do have control over is where you're going, and focusing on that more than what you're going to focus on the now. And I know that's it's a hard habit to break. And it requires practice, and it requires intention. And when I say practice, you can catch yourself in this place of fear and ego and doubt and negating of your potential and omitting any desire that you have and worrying about whether or not you can receive those things. And you're going to stay here, or you're going to choose to go where you really want to go. So this is coming up for me right now a lot, because I've been in this position of recognizing where I am now in my business, where I am now in, my living situation. And I've mentioned many times, that I'm trying to move to the beach. And, it's not where I want to be right now. And it's not a place of this financial reflection at this time. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with my identity. It has to do with when I'm speaking, am I speaking about, business, spirituality, beliefs, or am I speaking about something else? And I think about a lot of entrepreneurs and that they feel like this because of messages that start to grow as they grow. Business is a spiritual game that once you fit, it may not fit you anymore. And because you're growing spiritually, you're growing every time you listen to messages, anytime you're getting like these aha moments, anytime that you, listen to a podcast or get a download or meditate, you're growing. So your now is constantly changing. The way you feel is constantly changing. Your future is constantly changing. So, try not to spend too much time in the now. And I think that when we all look at the now and say, okay, I have to create a future based on what I'm doing now, we're just repeating the same story over and over. And I guess that's the message that I'm trying to get to you, that creating that, same repeating the story over and over is just going to get you the same results, like Albert Einstein said, right? And you don't want that, because we are people of growth, we're spirits of growth, we're souls of growth, and change. And so when you feel that pull to start talking in a different way and start showing up and talking about different things rather than focusing on the now, that's when your fear may creep up, and that is when you know that you're on the right path. So I guess my message is basically that I wanted to just tell you, I know this stuff is scary, and I think for me as a spiritual teacher trying to convey this, I try and say it in different ways each time, and it's basically the same message. What you're living now does not reflect where you're going in the future, and your desires and your intentions. So please remember, what you're living now is just what you've created in your past. Don't let those thoughts keep repeating, or this is the life that you're going to keep creating. Don't let those new ideas stop you, because this is where you're creating your future now. Don't let fear stop you, okay? Whenever you feel that pull between what you're currently doing versus what you really want to do, this is just resistance. Do what feels true. Follow your intuition. Try and break through that fear. Like I said, fear just is, it's an indication that you're on the right track, okay? So thanks for listening. I know this went a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but the short of it is, don't let your now reflect your future, okay? I have a lot of content coming through and a lot of creative channels opening up, and I can't wait to talk to you guys more about it later. Have a great day. Thanks.